Welcome to our class today. We're going to be taking a look at the shoulders, the neck, and the arms, and how to start opening it up and working on the shoulders. And that's going to affect the neck and the flexibility of the arms too. So how to start working on that and how to start thinking about where you are and how your body is dealing with pain in the shoulders or in the neck, and why it is that maybe certain stretches don't seem to help the pain. They actually cause more pain. So let's just take a quick look. It's very uh, uh, easy and not easy. It's a little bit difficult online. If I have a student ask me a question, this stretch is not working for my arms, it causes more pain. Um, that ability to see your shoulder and how you're doing the pose is going to then inform what types of poses are recommended and how you would start working with that. So without being able to see what's going on in your body, I'm going to hopefully with this video show you ways that you can start noticing certain things that are going on, and from there you have a lot of resources in the channel. I've linked a bunch of other classes in the description below, but you have a bit better of an idea of how to get started and where to target your stretches and where to start opening so that you can reduce pain and start working on your shoulders in a way that's going to help you. Okay, so let's sit in a comfortable position. I have a bunch of different props here to show you, and I think it'll be really fun. Okay, so sit in a comfortable position. I like to sit in Virasana. So I add a little bit of height under my sit bones, and again, you can always add more height if your thighs are very tight, or the feet and things like that. So this is a great pose to start out with, just making sure that there isn't any pain in the knees. And we're going to take a few breaths here to start out. So always remembering that we want to have a practice where we're not adding any more tension when we're stretching or holding an asana for any period of time. So sit down with the sit bones on your support or on the floor. And then to take a few deep breaths here. And as you breathe, release any tension in the eye, the lens of the eye. Release any tension in the root of the tongue, in the throat. And release any tension in the ears. Even if one fiber releases in the ears, the throat, the root of the tongue, and the eyes, that's wonderful. So with that release, with that softness in the eyes, the ears, and the throat, see if you can lift the chest. Lift the chest, soften the belly. Maintaining that softness in the eyes, the ears, the root of the tongue, and the throat. Okay, when you exhale, go ahead and open your eyes, and we'll get started. So when we're looking at stretching the shoulders, or starting to work on the shoulders, let's first take a look at your posture. And so sometimes there is a tendency here to start curling the arms forward. And this could be, looking at swimmers who have developed a lot of muscle in the back, and water polo players and all of that. You start seeing, sometimes there's a shortening here in the front, so tightness here in the front, and then the muscles in the back take over, right? So we start developing a posture that looks more like this. Sometimes it's just a habit, and so we develop this habit. Sometimes it's because of different work postures that we have to, sit in for a long period of time. So we start developing this. Okay, so it's very common, and especially now with our phones, I think this is going to be, a huge challenge for human beings, how to open the chest and make sure that this doesn't start shortening. If you don't use it, these muscles are obviously not going to retain their flexibility, and they're just going to, pull the back of the body forward like this. So really take a look at your posture without any judgment. There is the tendency to do this. Let's start opening the chest first, because if you're here and then we're starting to do these shoulder exercises and I'm exaggerating the pose here, it could, sometimes it's very subtle. There could be some pain when you do this work. So what we're going to start with is we're just going to lengthen this chest here. Sometimes you hear this word, opening the chest, just working on this opening so that then you can work on the shoulders too. So there's a lot of different ways to do that. And we could start from step one. So when I first started this idea of opening the chest, I remember just something so simple and gentle provided such incredible relief. And so if you have a blanket, you can use a blanket for this, or you can use a little bolster, but we're going to use a blanket. So fold your blanket. And this is also a really great thing to learn, because you can use this if you are interested in learning pranayama, or how to breathe in this yogic breathing, I guess we can call it. This is also something that you can use for that. So I'm going to grab the blanket, and I'm going to notice that I have like a nice folded edge here. And this edge is not, compared to this edge where all the different ends are not joining perfectly. We leave that back there. And I have a nice edge here where both parts of my blanket are folded. Okay, so I'm going to look at my chest here, and I'm going to divide the chest into three spaces, and I'm going to use that space. So I'm going to do maybe about this much, okay, this much space here, which is the middle space, and I'm going to measure that here on my blanket. So I put my fingers here, and I lift, and I fold it over. And then I can adjust the size. And I'm going to move the computer so you can actually see this up close. Okay. I'm going to put the nice side over here. Okay, so here we have the nice edge and the folded edges here, and they can be nice and lined up with each other. So this is your neat end, and I measure that amount of space, and I pinch and fold over like this. Okay, then I do the same thing again. And what I want here is a little pyramid. So I have a little steps here. Okay, so I'm forming this little pyramid. And I might be able to get another one out of this. Let's see. Maybe not. Okay. So I don't want to have this last one, so I'm just going to keep it like this and keep this out like that. Okay, so I have this tiny pyramid that I made for myself. If you're feeling sick or tired, you can make it thicker. And if you're feeling fine, then you can keep it nice and 2 or 3 inches there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and you can have this somewhere, you can have a spot in your house where you keep this like that, and every day you go and you lay on it. You don't have to take it apart and fold it every morning, but it's a great way to sit back and lay back on this and just allow this this chest to open because you have the support in the back, gently opening the chest. So if you're very tight, this is a great place to start. So I would add a little height for your head here. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to get into it. So we come out here in front of this blanket, and I place 2 fingers equidistant from my spine here. So I make sure that this little blanket is pretty much centered and on my back. And I want the nice neat edge to meet my body, and then the edge that is not very neat towards the head there. So I come back here and I line my spine on this blanket, and then I lay back with my arms so that they're not against the body and they're not, open like this. They're kind of at this angle here, so that my armpit is not touching my body. And I can lay here for, 5 minutes at a time or more. If your arms go numb here, just add some support underneath the arms. So, you can put a few blocks underneath your arms. And then breathe in the way that when you inhale, you start releasing any tension in the eyes, the ears, the throat. And you slowly start feel this gentle opening here of your chest. Soften the belly. Okay, so I won't stay here for the whole full 5 minutes, but you get an idea of a way that you can start releasing and discovering where it is that these tensions are in your back. So maybe you start feeling that the right shoulder really presses into the blanket a lot more than the left side, or there's a really tight, painful spot under, the shoulder bone here on your right side. So you start noticing these things, and then release. So you notice a very tight spot on the right side. You breathe into that spot. Release eyes, ears, throat, send the breath right into that tight spot. Draw a boundary, a mental boundary around the spot, and you tell the mind, you're telling me that there's pain. Draw that boundary around the pain, and then breathe into that pain and see if with time it starts shrinking, and giving you a better sense of how big that pain is. Notice what's going on in the neck, if they're gripping. Sometimes we tend to bite really hard on the left side or on the right, and start noticing where the grips are. Is it in the back of the neck? Is it, near the shoulders? So start, just observing what's going on. Okay, when you're ready, go ahead and roll to the right and come up. Sometimes you can take a look at the blanket and you can see if there's, a really a stronger dent on one of the sides. So you can start getting a lot of information from your blanket as well. So this is a great place to start. If you have that chronic pain in the shoulders or in the neck, start releasing the pain, noticing where you start feeling a pull or a grip. And from there, you can start a healthy shoulder, neck, and arm practice. Okay, so this would be a great place to start if you just don't know where to go and how to work with the pain that's there. Okay, so I'll put this aside and I'll show you different ways to do the same thing. So this would be step 1. It's a very gentle way to start opening the chest without tightening the eyes, the ears, and the throat. So after that, you could try a bolster. So it's the same concept, but this is a little bit more opening. And can use a little folded blanket for your head here. So maybe more support in the beginning, and same thing, you come back. You don't want to put a lot of your lower back on this bolster, so you just lay back on the bolster, like right around the rib cage area, and you lay back on your bolster. And here you can choose to keep your legs straight or legs bent. And you can straighten your leg on both, the blanket or the bolster. So here, it's a nice gentle way to start opening the chest. And the skin of the back, you feel as if someone could come in and scoop your skin down towards the sacrum. So this skin here isn't attacking the neck, right? So the skin of the back here comes down. So you almost want to use that traction and make sure that you get the feeling that the skin is coming down your back. Then you can keep the knees bent or straighten the legs. And come here and allow the chest to open, soft eyes, ears, and throat. Soften the belly. And see, sometimes there's a grip on the side of the belly here, and it starts affecting the neck. So start learning where it is that you're holding tension, that you have these holding patterns, maybe from an injury. And can you breathe into that grip and allow it to let go? Maybe the injury is long gone, it's healed, but the muscle patterns around it have stayed. Maybe there's that tendency to have short in the front here, so we start lengthening. So inhale, soften the eyes, the ears, and the throat, and start melting, melting around this bolster, opening the chest. If you start feeling discomfort on the around the arms, or sometimes there's tingling in the arms, I'll show you. It will go away usually. If the tingling goes away right after you finish the practice of doing this, a few minutes, it's gone, it's fine. If it stays for a few hours, then you might want to get it checked out if you have something pinched or something like that. But normally, if the tingling goes away, it's fine. It's pretty normal. So you can do something like this at the beginning, and as your chest opens more, then you can start working from here. Again, having that feeling that the skin of the back is coming down towards the sacrum. Soft eyes, ears, throat, and neck. Okay, so this is a really great practice. I hope that if you don't have a bolster, you can find a firm support and support your neck, and then start here. That's a really great place to start. All right. Then I have these little half circles. They're like this. That is a brand. Okay, so there's a bunch of these things on the internet, but you can put them on a blanket, or you can put them on that blanket that we folded. You can actually put these on there, and I'll bring this closer. Okay, they're right over there. And so what I can do is I can find the little points on my back that are really tight, and I can put them in the back there, and I can lay back on these and release the back a little bit. So softening eyes, ears, throat, releasing the back. And I used to press the blanket with my right side, so sometimes I would just put this on the right side to release that side, and once I felt it was released, then I would remove it and see if it did anything. So these are a nice thing to try too. Okay. Then And there are other things that you can use to release the shoulders so that you can start working on them. These planks are the same, but here is where your spine goes, and then you can move these things, from the neck all the way down to the sacrum. And so I don't know where you can find this, but there are things that are similar in shape, like I purchased a TV, and the end corners were exactly like this. I used to use that for a very long time. So there are different things that you can use to start softening any knots and things before you really start getting deep into working on the shoulders. All right. So for a few shoulder exercises to finish off this quick informational class, I guess, on how to start working the shoulders by really observing if this is something that's going on, that there is a shortness here in the chest, that you release it and open it first so that then you can start working on the shoulders without the pain. Right, so really great exercise that you can do for that is you're going to need a belt. So we're going to grab a fairly long belt, or you can join two together. And what we're going to do here is we'll do it step by step together. All right. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to fold the belt in half. So I have this belt folded in half like this. Then grab the middle, and I'm going to place the middle on the center of my chest here. And I'm going to place the ends of the belt under my armpits. Okay, like this. There you go. Okay, great. So now I'm going to bring it back here and bring it back here like this. And I hope I'm doing this right. Sometimes when I'm watching myself do it on my screen, I forget. Then I'm going to bring my hand here, and I'm going to bring these guys under. So I have this going on, right? And it's underneath like that. Okay. So I bring this belt over my head, and I can loosen it just a little bit. Okay, so now I have these that were already there. They're underneath here, and I moved that strap behind me. Now I can move, and I make sure that the strap is here, right next to my neck. Then I grab these two tail ends, and I flip them back. Okay, flip them back, and I keep this little knot very high up on my neck and on my back, I guess. And then I can go ahead and I can pull this down. So this works great if you get a stiff neck and you need to sit all day, so you really stretch the neck. It's excellent, right? And it really works on your posture. So here it is. It's around here, around my arm, and I will pull it down, and you can see, what it does. So be gentle pulling it down when you're getting used to using this prop. You don't want to pull very hard. So you start pulling, and then eventually you'll know your limit. But if you have a stiff neck, if you woke up with a stiff neck, or or something happened to your neck where it's really in pain, this is a wonderful way to stretch it and to help it heal. All right, so here, and you can bring this anywhere. You can attach more belts to it and stand up with it, or you can sit like this, and you can sit with your yoga jacket and start working on the muscles of the back and of the neck. So this is a really great one. All right. And then you just have a friend help you take it out. Okay. So all of these things to start moving the skin of the back here down towards the sacrum, so that this skin isn't coming and crawling up towards the neck. So moving the skin back, opening the chest so that you can do this, right? So the opening doesn't just come from the shoulders moving out, it comes from this chest opening. And then lifting the chest and maintaining that quality of soft eyes, ears, and throat. All right, so moving on, we have maybe a few more things that I'll show you. I have this, it's a stretchy belt, but you can do that with the regular belts as well. So you don't need to do the stretchy belt. So I want to show you this opening of the chest, and at the back comes here, from the center. We're not just, almost dislocating the arm out. We're moving all of this shoulder blade and these muscles out. So you can grab the stretchy belt. Okay, and I'm going to stretch the arms out, and then once the arms are short, I'm going to use, sort of the medial part of my my back, and I'm going to open from there. So open, close, and close. I hope that you can see that. And this is really great for the arms and the back, but, creating that space in the back. And space in the back and neck. And when we do this, release the eyes, the ears, and the throat, and creating space. Okay, and releasing. So that's a nice one. I hope that you could see the length coming from, the center of the back there, not just from stretching the arm out. So this is a really great one to do as well. I'll show you one last one on the wall that you can try. And this is, open the chest and lift the chest are some of the foundational requirements to do this exercise correctly. So here we go. So I want to come to the wall, and generally I want to be standing up. So let's do this. If you have a friend here, it works really well with two people, but if you don't, we'll do it on our own. So I want to stand near a wall so that my feet are facing, so if I'm standing on this wall, my feet will be facing the wall in front of me. I'm going to grab my hands and I'm going to put the palm to the wall here. So I want to make sure that my hand is not above my shoulder line. It can be below, that's fine. Or it can be parallel to the floor. So place that palm on the wall. The feet are pointing towards this wall. If you're very tight, you can sort of face the wall, that's fine. And then you place that palm on the wall. And the secret here is you have to touch this shoulder area to the wall. So usually the shoulder starts escaping the wall here. If I can, let's see if I can do this so that you can see. Okay, so here, here's my shoulder touching the wall. So usually what happens is the shoulder comes away from the wall. So keep this contact. So if you would have someone helping you, they would be holding your wrist so that the wrist doesn't come down. Okay, we don't want the wrist coming up. And they would be holding that shoulder so that it maintains the contact with the wall. So that's what I mean, keep this contact, okay? Okay, so let me show you what you do. So watch my feet and then watch my upper body. So this lift has to remain in this pose. So you can't come down here. This is cheating. So lift the chest, keep the contact with the shoulder and the wall, and hands here. And my feet are pointing, if you have to start here because of tightness, that's fine. So inhale, soften eyes, ears, throat. As you exhale, turn the feet out of it. And if you have a friend, they would be pushing. If you don't have someone that you can do this with, maintain the contact of the shoulder to the wall. And then you start turning the feet around, lifting the chest, breathing, inhaling, softening eyes, ears, and throat. And on the exhale, you can start turning your feet out. Okay, make sure that the other hand stays on your waist, but never goes back there to join the other hand. You don't want to do that. And then slowly come back. Okay, you can do the other side. So shoulder in contact with the wall here, maintaining that contact. Inhale, lift the chest, and then you can walk all the way around. So you can see this kind of connection with opening the chest, lifting the chest, not overly opening the chest, but at least making sure that this isn't shortened. So lifting the chest here, and you can do this wall exercise, anytime, but make sure that you have that quality where you're softening the eyes, the ears, and the throat, and you're lifting the chest so that you're not overdoing this and possibly, straining something or going too far. So if you're breathing, making sure that you're not holding your breath while you're doing this, this should be a very nice work for your shoulders. All right, there's so much more in the world of shoulders and neck and what you can do to start really strengthening and stretching correctly and improving the condition and the pain. So if you like this and you want to see more, let me know. Maybe we can, do part 2 next week if it's something that you would like to see and that if it helps you. Okay, so it is 12 o'clock. I will see you next week. Thank you for watching and see you soon. Thank you.